Welcome, water signs. Welcome to your reading for the month of February 2019 for the signs of Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, anything else that places in your chart with water signs. This channel is called The Witching Hour. My name is Michelle and I'm a witch. Here's some white sage for you and me and the cards that we'll be using. I'm using Sacred Circle Tarot. Those cards are, it's a Celtic Pagan tarot set created by Anna Franklin and Paul Mason. And a spirit card at the end will be from Witch's Wisdom Oracle deck, created by Barbara Michael John Free and Flavia Kate Peters. I'm going to read each sign individually in their order: Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. In that order, it will cover the areas of love, security, and freedom. I will do each sign individually, but at the end I will integrate the entire reading as one reading for the element of water. So stay tuned to the end, where you will see your spirit card at the end of the reading. And that is the final outcome. I always encourage to view a reading as the whole element, and that's why I'm integrating them together. And I do individual signs readings for love readings. That's when I break up the signs individually, because relationship readings can be very complex and take a longer time to read, and I think each sign deserves its own reading in turn. But this being a general reading that covers relationships, romantic and otherwise, our material security, and our freedom, which is our personal power and our life path, I like to read them as a whole integrated element. And it reads really beautifully, and it's very, very empowering, and you can read each element, all 5 elements. So not just the ones on the zodiac wheel, earth, air, fire, water, but also spirit, which I call soul star readings. I evoke the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. I greet the guardians of the directions of north, east, south, and west. I pray for the divine and our allies in spirit to be with us in this reading, to give us guidance, discernment, and wisdom in love and life, and ask that our guides and guardians, ancestors, and loved ones in spirit be with us for the highest good of all. So may it be. Ocean and river, ripple and rain, water, I call thee hence. Our cards are ready, water signs. Cancer first, then Scorpio, and then Pisces. For Cancer, the underlying energy of your love and life path for the month of February is the 3 of Cups. That is lovely. Resolution. Resolution. And it's like you've passed a spiritual test. What you're getting in the area of love, it's kind of like you're a bit more focused on love than anything else. You're more focused on that. But you're going through a spiritual rite of passage. What we have is the card of initiation, number 16. This deck does not have the card of temperance. So some of these cards diverge from the path of traditional tarot. And this is a rite of passage. This is when you go within this labyrinth and go to the middle, to the cauldron of life, and then you come back out. So it's like a crucible, almost. I I think it's for inner cleansing. I don't get such a negative, heavy, intense feeling. Maybe intense, but not in a negative, heavy way. Okay? But I very much get you are in the midst of a process that I would say is you're attempting to pass the test spiritually, energetically, in the area of relationships, romantic and otherwise. I feel more of a family energy coming from the card of the Three of Cups, a family energy. But the initiation is a personal one just for you individually. In the area of security, and it's like the other areas of your life may feel as though they're falling to the wayside because your attention was more on relationships. In the area of security, you have the Ten of Rods or Wands and the energy of force. But I feel that this is like the culmination of the test. This is like you coming to the end of your old ways of doing things. Your old ways of doing things. You have reached your limit, and source of, I'm getting the words like expenditures, and it's almost like it's a spring cleaning in your finances. It's a spring cleaning in your home. Your physical belongings, your material resources, financial resources, possibly even, I see like a phase of your job ending, whatever your career path is, and also like coming up on the end of a cycle with your life path, meaning that meaningful personal work that you do, which is more along the lines of what's more personally fulfilling, whether it be whether you're fortunate enough to have that as a career or it's your pastime or hobby, that it's like you've come to the end of fully expressing all the joy that you can in those areas of meaningful work that acquire material wealth or affluence or security. It's like out with the old, in with the new. I just feel like that's what you're going through right now. And as far as choosing the road ahead, like what lies beyond all of that, and your personal choice and empowerment, it's almost like it's literally falling on, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. And it falls right in the area of your personal empowerment and ability to freely choose. But I don't feel that it's negative. You have the Eight of Swords, the energy of bondage, but it's more of holding yourself back before you go forward and make a decision. Because I feel that you are wisely waiting. That's the energy that I'm getting from this. Because you're celebrating with those Three of Cups. You're celebrating the end of a cycle. But I feel that it's more of having the result of a spiritual testing than it is anything else that manifests in the physical. In other words, if things are transpiring in your life, it's the result of a spiritual test, so to speak. It's like the divine is helping you end certain cycles. They've run their course, is what I'm getting. They've run their course. And I just heard, and so are you. It's like that kind of, that resonates for you. You feel like saying, yes, these things have run their course, and so have I. It's like, you don't want to spend your energy in certain ways anymore. But you're wisely waiting for the next step. I may clarify that. I'm gonna get one clarifying card from the Hanson Roberts Mini Tarot, if you can see it here. Tiny, teeny little deck for you, Cancer. To clarify just what is next and what will help you feel less stuck, because I'm getting a sense of a little bit of frustration, but I feel like it's more you need something that will ease your mind about it. This is what's popping up, and it is the Queen of Swords, and she kind of came out in reverse. Oh no, it's Justice. It's Justice. So a sense of feeling unsettled, maybe getting in your own way, boredom, lethargy, having a break and not knowing what to do with yourself in the time in between. Possibly a fear of falling back on old, quote unquote, addictive behavior in a sense, and that doesn't have to mean anything hard-hitting, but more like when I have too much time on my hands, I watch too much TV, or I get lazy, or I eat too much, that type of thing, or you know what I mean. Feeling that like spring break is coming, and I can't have a vacation that's too long. I can't have too many days off, or I'm not going to know what to do with myself. The universe is saying you're going to be inspired. You got the Star card, and I feel like I should stop there. I feel the universe saying for you that your rest and rejuvenation has to be something of a spiritual spiritual holiday, a spiritual retreat, to look up. That's what needs to be renewed first, and then the other things will follow. So like look up, I keep thinking of Eckhart Tolle. He keeps coming into my mind. That type of spiritual retreat. Go to a spiritual retreat and renew your soul, your spirit. And it's not coming from feeling sad. It's just coming more from being depleted. And I think you're going to be inspired this month by what you love. Kind of like follow the breadcrumbs to, by observing and looking at the little, hobby or enrichment type things that you usually like to do in your spare time. Follow those ideas, and they're going to lead you to a spiritual retreat, maybe even a spiritual retreat of your own, or one where you join a group where it's not your typical vacation, where you're just kind of frolicking. That it's like a different kind. And it doesn't have to be serious, spiritually all serious. It's more spiritually rejuvenating, but less of that frolicking type fun, more of a spiritual fun type thing that helps you feel more enlightened and more rejuvenated. So light, but spiritual. So I'm going to move onward to Scorpio. And Scorpio, your underlying energy is the Five of Wands and grounding. This is when your attention, there's a lot going on competing for your attention. A lot of it can be coming from energy from others as opposed to yourself, because this is not mental energy, it's active energy, it's physical action where everybody's doing everything at the same time. It's chaos energy. But I feel for you it's more tasks to be done that are happening a lot, or a lot of something diverting your attention. Not necessarily your thought process. But what I get for you is the High Priestess. And this card always reminds me of you, Scorpio. Because it's like you have the High Priestess energy, but this is what you're getting in the area of relationships. And intuitive balance are the words that I just heard. Your relationships are going to be grounding for you. They're going to reconnect you with your intuition this month. If you give them the time that you require personally. It's like I keep feeling you have to nurture and nourish your soul with your relationships. Reconnect with those you love, whoever they may be, romantic or otherwise. And that nurturing, I'm getting tingles, so I know that I'm on the right track. Nurturing your soul through the relationship connections will, in fact, sharpen your intuition, give you the clear mind to deal with whatever it is that you're going to go back to that was competing for your attention before, and now it will be more like, no, now it's more smooth sailing. Because I recalibrated or reconnected with my intuition through love connections. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'm finding that you're having a hard time speaking your mind. In the area of security, you have the Seven of Swords and the energy of diplomacy. I feel that this intuition and this love and this self-worth, renewed self-worth will help you drop the diplomacy and speak more clearly what your truth really is. Regarding finances, wages, what you want in your home, how you want things to be, expressing yourself, not having so many thoughts swirling around in your mind at the same time, but more of a communication is what I'm seeing. More of a communication about what it is you actually want in your home, things you have to live with is what I'm getting. Things you have to live with, the expression needs to come from that heightened sense of intuition that has been fueled by love. Has to. It's, I'm saying has to, not in the sense of telling you what to do, but I do sense that it's critical, and I feel that that is the statement that aligns with you and validates how you're feeling. Has to be that way. The universe is saying, yes, it does have to be that way. And you have a right to make it so. And that was purely channeled. They all are. They all are, but some feel more acute and strong when they come out. And that one sure as hell did. You have a right to express specifically what you want and what you have to live with. Absolutely. Especially wages I'm getting. It's like it has to be what you want, not just, oh, it's in the neighborhood, it's in the ballpark, that's okay. So it's like, now is not the time to settle for those things, and to not worry that you're being demanding. You can articulate yourself diplomatically without settling. Be very specific and don't settle for what it is you want. You can communicate it in a tactful, diplomatic way without being vague and without coming across as being too wishy-washy. Like you communicate it too wishy-washy and you might come across as a pushover to your boss. And they'll give you, $3 instead of $5, where you really wanted, the 5. You don't go off your own mark. And you can express it diplomatically without someone taking advantage of that and lowballing you. Okay? That's, I feel it very strongly. Especially in your home, what you have to live with, too. If you live with other people, you're a mom or a dad or a roommate, boyfriend, girlfriend, siblings, whatever it is. Roommates or co-workers even in your workspace. It's like you have to be articulate, tactful, yes, diplomatic, sure, but don't settle. In saying, this is how I need my work environment. Put your pencils over on your side. Don't leave your junk in my space. That type of thing. I'd really appreciate it if you would leave that there. Thanks so much. And you walk away. See what I'm saying? It's like, boy, you put the statement out there, but you were like, smiling or whatever. But you got your point across. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like that. It doesn't put stress on you or fear. Stress that comes from fearing how they're going to respond. It's more like, just approach it head on with a smile on your face, but like really put it in there. Kind of like Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer. It's like, or you kind of do this, you know what I mean? But you're not being a jerk. You're not being aggressive. You're being assertive. Calm, assertive energy. The dog whisperer. And in the area of freedom, see, this is why I think it feels critical. You have the 10 of Swords. Because you're reaching the end of feeling powerlessness. You're reaching the end of it. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore. So it's like, before you make those choices to make the changes that you want, put on that more diplomatic air, dial it back just a couple notches so that you don't blow up at anybody. Or make rational decisions based on frustrations you've been holding on to for too long and not speaking your mind about. You know how when you pent things up, you can explode, So it's like, before you get to that point, before you reach that point, know that it's coming. I feel like this is the universe telling you it's coming. I don't feel an explosion coming, They're saying don't explode internally, like where you feel, in other words, take the preventive measure of getting it done before it's absolutely critical. So do it now while it's necessary. Don't wait until it's critical. And you end up making a rash decision when you've reached the end of your rope. You know what I mean? So do it ahead of time, and you feel intuitively that now is the time. And your love relationships, whoever they may be, the ones that support you in doing what you want, not just the people you gripe to, not the people you gripe to or vent to. That's just blowing off steam. If you're in the mind of taking responsibility for what you want, and you want to specifically choose someone who help support you in your strength. They might hear you vent a little, but then it's like, okay, well, let's come up with a little action plan or a game plan, or okay, you tell me what you want, and you might not want advice from them, but you might want their support and validation, not just blowing off steam. Do you see what I mean? There's a difference. Blowing off steam isn't going to help you get anything done every time. You might need to know that somebody's got your back. I'm going to go talk to so-and-so today. Call me at 2:30. I'll be done by then, or you give me a call when you're done so I can be there with you and cheer you on, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's going to help you feel a lot more grounded and a lot more in control of yourself and your world and how you want your world to be, without feeling too rigid and without feeling too much of a pushover. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to come out perfect, but I guess your goal would be to come out feeling that you haven't settled for something you don't deserve, and that you feel that you came out of whatever situation that you're contending with or dealing with or trying to set in order in a way where you feel personally satisfied and you feel that your life is progressing nicely, I mean, that's really all we can hope for in any stage in the game, right? In the game of life, is that you come out that way where you're progressing and you feel at ease about it. Make the road not too bumpy. So I hope that helped. I'll get back to both yours and Cancer's final results card when I'm done with the energy of Pisces. So Pisces, on to Pisces. You get the 7 of Discs with the energy of prudence, conservatism, mindfulness, really. It's more about mindfulness. Yep. Precision, not perfection. That's the energy I'm getting, the underlying energy. And the card in the area of relationships is the Queen of Wands. I do this thing called whatever I want. And it's because she's been illuminated. You might be involved, romantically or otherwise, with a female fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, whatever. Fire, a lot of fiery energy, passionate person, creative, highly insightful, inspired. They're usually inspired. They usually act, and they themselves are somewhat of an inspiration to you when you see them operate or function. Could be a boss, co-worker, female friend. I see you feeling more conservative and them being more out there. And I see this as a nice work balance, that you work together with these two energies. Yeah, because I'm feeling that this is someone else's energy. But then what I see at the bottom of the card of the Queen of Wands is the little fox. And this I feel is like your energy. The cunning. You're watching the other person kind of do the deeds and you're thinking about, you're more the strategist or the schemer. And this isn't in an evil, shady way at all. This is more, the fox is in traditional tarot, this would be a black cat because she's a witch. She's the witch. Other than the high priestess like Scorpio, you've got the minor arcana witch, but she's royalty. She's in the court cards, so she's still a major hitter. But she might not be the end-all be-all. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm getting that you might need to, in a mindful way, what will help your strategy in getting what you want out of things in relationships or in your interrelationships with people at work and things like that, is if you use your fox-like cunning, and they always stay under the radar, they can make themselves, they can camouflage themselves or mask themselves to suit the environment and blend in better and not look too out of place. But what they're doing is they're placing themselves in the environment to act a certain way at a certain time, okay? That's what I'm getting from this energy. So while this person might think they're the boss, you're really the planner. You're really the one making things happen. And you don't even look like you are, you know? You might even be making this person look good or look better than they actually are. And what I'm getting is that in your life in general, because I for some reason I'm comparing the Scorpio card with this boss card, okay, or this female authority figure card. This is major arcana. This is more like the goddess energy, okay, the divine feminine. This is more everyday life, but someone in a position of maybe authority, okay, someone who's self-masterful or self-motivated, you know, that type of thing. And it might be that in your mind you approach two different types of people the opposite way. You approach the more common person, even though she's a queen, you approach her more like a goddess, and then you approach the goddess more like she's a queen, more on the human level. So that might not be for everybody, but if you find it to be true for yourself, that it's like, just for an example, you treat your friend like they're your sister, and you treat your sister like they're your friend. That's not right or wrong here nor there, but I'm getting for some reason that putting them in their, approaching them appropriately according to their actual station in life, right, will be beneficial at this time. So you treat the queen like the queen. She's an earth person. And you treat the goddess like the goddess. Okay? So it's like that has to be more in alignment at this time. It will serve you in some way. And I don't know how. I'm not getting that. But it will serve you in some way to align those energies more appropriately. To match them up appropriately. And it will be beneficial for you at this time to approach those two people or those two energies matching in alignment, okay? So treat the goddess like the goddess. Treat the more important, higher things with the reverence they deserve, and the more common earthly things, even though they might be in a position of authority, they still are people. And you treat them like people, not, you know, larger than life. So I hope that makes sense, because in the area of security, here's your card. You got water right on you, on your area of security. And it's like it will be more emotionally fulfilling for you, and you'll feel more mature. And it's like, look at him. He's like sitting pretty, like chilling out. Like he did something that served him well, and he's kind of toasting himself. You see what I mean? So it's like, if you're mindful, and you're using more precision but not perfection, no pressure on yourself, and you approach people with the appropriate hierarchy, for lack of a better word, that they really have, then it will serve you better emotionally. in your approach to them. Okay? I hope that makes sense, because what it's going to do is be emotionally satisfying, and it's going to be liberating. It's going to give you a lot of freedom, Pisces. I don't know where or when, but it's like it opens things up. It broadens your horizons, and it gives you a fresh start in those areas of your life that you are seeking progress in. And progress in development is what I'm getting. And it's more personal. It isn't all, in other words, you don't want everything to be about work all the time. Well, then don't overemphasize your boss's stature in your life. And so approach them differently. Your wife or husband may be more important to you than your boss. I hope they are. Of course they are. So you approach them differently. You may only get to see your loved ones for less time. In other words, you're working out your most important relationships in your spare time. But your approach can make up for the lack of time. You see what I'm saying? You can live in those fewer moments, live more in those fewer moments by giving them, approaching them with the reverence they deserve, that you want to give them, the appreciation, and appreciate your boss, for example, the way they really should. They're not your spouse, they're not your family, so don't approach them that way. You know what I'm saying? I hope all of that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is pull a spirit card, an overall spirit card for each one of you. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, from Witch's Wisdom Oracle. And this is going to be your final outcome. Cancer, I feel like you're going to get one that kind of trumps all the other cards you got. It's like you're in the meh stage of a transition, but you feel good because your relationship sector is really sweet right now and you feel happy. And when you go to that spiritual retreat center or do a spiritual retreat of your own, I feel like it would be better with company is what I'm getting. But I feel like that's going to kind of reset and recalibrate things for you. And it does have to start at the core, being in the spiritual area. Like I said before, not serious, but maybe not just frolicking. You know, or maybe time the two at once. Or you go on vacation, but you go to some kind of spiritual service while you're on vacation or something like that. So here is your card, Cancer. Letha, intensification. So see, the divine is, with that star card and the justice, the divine is going to turn things around for you. You're going to feel less stuck. Things will intensify. So depending on how you channel your energy right now, that is how things will go. Either the boredom and restlessness will intensify, or the release and the change of scenery will help intensify your soul. But I feel it will intensify your soul in a positive way. And if you feel like you're getting more agitated, then you know it's like, oh, I really need to make such and such adjustment right now before I get too agitated and get into that spiritual mode and kind of turn this around for myself. You'll feel it. You'll know when. You have to depend on your sense of inner timing. So Scorpio, your word from Spirit is, in the final outcome, yay. I was getting a little nervous, I will confess, because you got the 7 of Swords and then the 10 of Swords, and I didn't feel bad about it, like I said, but here's your final outcome card, which is Beltane or Bealtana, with the energy of fertility. So it's like, and look at the Lovers. This is the card of the Lovers, right? Not marriage, but lovers. You see what I'm saying? So it's like woo woo. And that will help rejuvenate you emotionally. I'm just going to come out and say it, because what I'm getting is channel your sexual energy. Focus on self-gratification. You know, focus on self-gratification, whether it be maybe just get a little hedonistic, you know, sexually, sensually gratify yourself. I'm not in the sense of being, what's that word? Oh my God, it's just, I'm having my own personal Mercury retrograde, I swear. And it is like in Virgo's charts right now with what's going on in the sky. Anyways, What is that word? Gluttony. I'm not talking about gluttony. I'm not talking about the addictive kind of like impulsive self-gratification that you need. That's like a, I mean, we all do that to one degree or another. I'm talking about self-healing, like you deserve to feel good kind of self-gratification. Not the kind of self-gratification you feel guilty about and then try and justify it so that you don't feel as guilty, or you beat yourself up to justify feeling guilty. It's like, I don't deserve this, all of those bad, emotionally, mentally unhealthy ways of treating yourself. Treat yourself, acknowledge that you deserve to feel good and to feel happy sensually, through sexuality, sensuality, dancing, lovemaking, eating delicious food, engaging more interactively, kinesthetically with the things you love to do, buying yourself some flowers, smelling, engaging all of your senses, taking a nice hot bath, whatever it is for you, okay? Like not a lot of mental energy. Let the body clear the mind. There you go, channel message. And for you, I hope you like that, Scorpio. Take good care of yourself and treat yourself. It's the month for it, right? Have some fun. Have some physical fun that helps you feel rested and taken care of. Okay, love on yourself. And for you, Pisces, you get Autumn, Watchtower of the West, which connects with the element of water, which is you. And the underlying card, everybody, is ancestors and remembrance. And remember, we invited our ancestors into this reading. They're connecting with us right now at this time in our life. And back to you, Pisces, I'm feeling you're getting the wisdom of your ancestors. You're connecting with them. And I feel that this water energy is nourishing you. It's giving you this wisdom beyond your years. It's like you're in the know. You've got that cunning little fox. You're like, And to me, the autumn represents the wisdom we've acquired over the course of time, right? When people say they're in the autumn of their life, they're not quite in the winter, like the crone stage. They're more like approaching, like late middle age. And it feeds your soul. West is the energy of water. You have the colors of fire and wisdom, the witch's wisdom. She's the witch. You're the cunning fox, her familiar. The West is water, like the King of Cups. And that makes this new growth, the green man, who is all about being wild and woolly and free and exploring new horizons. The horizons expanding. And it's all because you were wise. You used your time wisely. You used your approach wisely with the people in your life that affect your life directly. Those important relationships. You prioritize them and approach them more appropriately. It's going to make you feel more wise. You're going to look back on it. I know that's what this card means. You're going to look back on it and go, and give yourself a little gold star and say, I did it. Yeah, I worked that scenario like a boss. I handled it well and smart. So I hope you all liked your reading. If you would like to connect with me for a personal reading or to make a donation, those links are in the drop-down box below. Please leave a comment if this resonated for you. And until we meet again, take good care. Check out my video library. And from my soul to yours, much, much love and brightest blessings. Bye-bye.